that was chaotic. I don't know, it went good, but I severely underestimated the amount of planning this thing was gonna take, and I knew it was going to take a lot of planning. I mean, I was late to school and work because I was trying to assemble things, Tupperwares and glass things, and the reusable cups I needed to bring tonight, and I set my lunch up the night before. I picked out my outfit so I would have time. It was crazy. It was like, I don't know what happened. I felt prepared and I was not prepared. Day one.
Hi, so today is day 2 of the challenge, but I will be making my own dinner tonight because I do have dance, and I won't be home until after they've already eaten. So, I think tonight I plan to have some pasta. So I will be getting that from a cardboard box, but does it have that like little clear plastic opening. However, I'm not going to be finishing the pasta that I'm using. I'll probably just be starting a new one. So I don't know if that counts, but technically there is a little slit of plastic where you can like see through it.
I'm feeling better. I got out the door with plenty of time this morning. Let's talk about my food plan. I started planning this a couple weeks ago, and I still didn't know what I was doing for my 2 dinners. And last night I had a dinner at work, and it was less than awesome. So I basically decided that it would be the easiest to do a salad every day for lunch, which is something I used to do a lot, so that's not out of the ordinary for me. And I'll just switch it up a little bit so I'm not bored. I made my own trail mix from the bulk, and then a thing I did was that I bought myself a loaf of bread in a paper bag, and I'm cutting off chunks and having bread with my lunch so that I'm not super hungry either. I have a little bit more substance. Day 2, let's go.
What my mom is making us dinner, and she's making macaroni and cheese, and she like home makes it and stuff, and so we have this pasta, but this thing is in a piece of plastic. It's a huge block of cheese. It's like literally the size of my head. This takes us through a lot, like probably a month and a half like of using this. Like the plastic lasts for a pretty long time, I guess, if that makes sense. But the other thing I wanted to mention was I just had a realization that so obviously I get blisters on my feet from dance, but so I put the band-aids on them, and then I just had this thought that the like wrapping and then like the little sticky things that attach to like the part that wraps around, that's plastic, and I didn't think about that, and I think I've used 5 band-aids this week. So that plastic wrapping obviously won't be in my jar because I didn't really think about it as plastic, and so I threw it away. So there is that. I just wanted to mention that. Totally forgot about that, but I mean, there's not really anything I can do about it because like I have to cover them up with a band-aid. Like what else am I going to use, right?
So I went to go help out at a church conference today at my church. I was helping with food, and then I sat in on a couple sessions, so that was fun. But I knew that I would be eating dinner there. I didn't know what the dinner was going to be, and I didn't want to seem like a total psychopath, so I brought a little Tupperware for me to use. So I kind of thought for a minute. I was like, I should bring a reusable coffee cup too, because there's always coffee and tea at church conferences. I was right. Coffee. Single use. But I brought my own cup. The Tupperware, I was able to use, but I also had to use another thing. There wasn't enough room, so I used a paper bowl and recycled that, because the other option was a styrofoam plate, which styrofoam is really bad too, so I didn't want to use styrofoam. And I was doing good with just my fork, but it was tri-tip, and I thought I took mostly small pieces, and it took me 8,000 years to chew this one small piece of tri-tip, and I was like, I have to use a knife. So I brought home the knife to put in my jar because I'm living by this week.
Like, the thing with the jar is I'm not really finishing anything, so I can't really put anything in the jar because I haven't finished anything that has plastic yet. But in the past, I have done some like recycling of some plastic items. So one of the things I do is, I don't know if you guys know, but like the little Oreo containers that come in they come in like the plastic wrapping, and then they also come in the little like plastic thing that they all stack in. It looks like this. So I reuse this for my pens and some colored pencils apparently. Sour cream container that has like hair ties and things in it in my bathroom, but my bathroom's a mess, so I don't really want to show you guys that. But I do reuse some plastic things. So I just wanted to mention that I'm not horrible. Like, I do try my best to not use a lot of plastic, even though I'm not like super aware of it. Like, I do reuse some things. So I just want to share that with you guys.
Once again, I've forgotten to allow time to plan dinner or make dinner for work. I'm not thrilled, but it's the last day, so I'm just gonna live with it. So I really wouldn't have had dinner. God is good, because I really wouldn't have had dinner, but I had leftovers from last night at the church conference. I took a couple pieces of tri-tip home in my little Tupperware that I brought that I used to eat out of. So I'm gonna have that. So last day, going out with a bang, forgetting to make dinner. Otherwise, today was great.
Hi, so I have my jar here, and this is the completed week. So all I have in here is this little pizza thing, and then I also have this bag. Here it is. It's from the inside of my cereal box. So that was my no plastic week, so I feel like I did pretty well. I didn't use that much plastic that went into my jar, but that's only because I didn't finish a lot of the things that I started this week, and I did have dinner with my family a couple times. So obviously that plastic would be accounted for. But yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I make that much waste, and I do try to recycle a lot of stuff and reuse things, like I mentioned with my little container that I put my pens in. And so I mean, I don't feel like it was that much of a lifestyle change for me. Like, obviously, if there was a place nearby that sold stuff where I could like bring my own containers and buy stuff in bulk, like, I totally would. But there's not a place like that. Like, if there was a place I could go and fill up like a jar of milk, I would totally do it. If there was a place I could go and fill up like my box of Cheerios, I totally would do it. Like, I don't know. I feel like if it was more convenient, I would totally do it. But I'm not about to drive an hour to go to Berkeley to do this. Like, obviously I'm not perfect, and if the resources were there, I would totally use them. Like, I'm not like, oh my god, let's use plastic. Like, I really do try to not use plastic in my everyday life. And I think this has really caused me to think about some of the plastics that I do use and how I can stop using them or maybe use them less. So this was great. I really liked doing this. So thank you, Emma.
Zero Waste Week, officially done. I thought that went rather okay. Probably pretty good, but you know, I took it really seriously. At least I tried to. I think that I accomplished my goals in that, and even though I planned my meals, I was prepared. There's still some things that fell through the cracks, and some things I didn't even like. It didn't even occur to me. Like, I remember the first day I used a coffee pod. Absolutely nothing went off in my brain like, hey, you shouldn't be using that because it's challenge week. So I think that's gonna be the thing that I change. I think I'm gonna have a little kit that goes in my car or something, or maybe just I'm definitely gonna buy another one of those cutlery sets. That was awesome. I really loved using my little to pull apart cutlery, and I thought I was gonna be just so like focused on the plastic that like, but I was conscious of other things, and I was very aware of what I was recycling, and I think that kind of mentality is what I need to carry on. I think I need to continue being overly careful and extra cautious to justify using plastic, because I don't think I could do this for the rest of my life. I'm really glad that I did this week. I'm also a little bit glad that I can start wrapping up this 2020 project. It was fun. So now I'm gonna go learn about recycling.